Okay, I just want to do a quick state of the state on like where we are as a project, which is that nothing is working right now. So it's day 6, day 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, day 7. It's day 7. There are 4 days. We don't have really any particular game up and running in a reliable way, and we do not have the content in for most of the games. I feel like we're doing a pretty good job on art asset production. That was a worry earlier in the week, but it feels like that stuff's gonna get done-ish. But most of our 8 mini games do not actually have their logic implemented. We don't have all the object types we need. We don't have the tool types we need. And most importantly, the network second screen stuff is now disconnecting. So we basically need to get that fundamental thing, because if the second screen does not work, we don't have a game at all. Any help that we can get from any other team, if you need me to beg for somebody, I will go do that. If we can't get that fixed today, I think there's almost no way that we could actually get the rest of the content implemented in 3 days.
I believe in us.
I believe in us too.
No pressure.
And I shaved my beard, so now I've got my summer mustache. So everything is relaxed and ready. We're just gonna jam through it. Do you guys want to break and go start drilling into that right now while we go update on all the other stuff? And like I said, if you need help from anyone, if you need any testing of anything, if you need anything, if you want me to go get you a coffee, if you need your car washed, need anybody killed,
I bet you it's this.
Really?
Oh yeah. No. Okay.
Oh,
so
is this?
Wait. Stop.
What?
Let me see.
I want to disconnect it.
Stop. Let me see. Disconnect that node. Just see what happens.
No.
Nope. It's all broke there too.
But we were doing this yesterday.
I don't know. I was getting the same behavior.
Yes,
I was getting
yesterday.
the same behavior in World Text Actor, which doesn't make any sense.
I feel a little stressed, but that's okay. I feel like you need to be stressed at this point. It just happens. It's good. It's good for you.
So you're stressed?
I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm just going through the motions. I'm at the beginning of the pipeline, so it's not. At the beginning, it's very stressful because everyone's asking you to, have giving stuff to the modelers and stuff. That's stressful. But towards the end, I'm just sort of polishing stuff and saying, oh, what if we did this and made it more soft or did more textures? So it's not as much for me to mess up.
clean the teeth, drill a tooth, fill the tooth, pull a tooth. Oh, and then uvula massage.
Or
You want to do that?
I mean, okay, you can do that, but I don't think it needs to be an objective.
Why not?
Oh, okay. Sure, yeah.
How do you like how Rusty's been developing the pieces of concept that you make?
He's great. Yeah, he's great. Rusty's great.
So, okay, now you can say what you really...
No, Rusty is actually great. I love Rusty. Say, come talk to, hey, 2-player wants to talk to you. They're very sorry. Why just hide money in front of your face?
Give us money to go.
Please go away. Say is a wonderful concept artist. Okay. Better than wonderful. Say's my pal. I tried. 2014, I was on Steed with John Bernhelm. It's different. Every project lead is different. I like that project. I like this project. I was also on Levi's project in 2012. I was on Black Lives 20 years ago.
Or the 2 weeks that I aged 20 years.
No, Levi was a great project lead too. They're just all different, and I don't know.
They're trying to trap me.
I know they're trying to
Show
trap
all
me.
this to Zach.
I know they're gonna show us the Zach. I don't.
So, like, the difference between the canines and the front teeth is quite small. It goes 2 front teeth, and then, like, you have this, well, kind of depends. So this is my canine, right?
Yes.
And I have this corner tooth here. Well, my teeth are weird, right? Because I have big front teeth. That's cool.
Okay, I'll add a molar.
Cool. Yo.
How much do you like quick oats?
What was that? We're on a, what's it called? A pretty pressured time schedule, but whereas, like, whether or not the game is X amount of pretty or, Y amount of pretty is not necessarily essential for something like a jam, but but it's also very satisfying to make things look nice. Because I can only stand looking at sort of a game, sort of a sub-pretty game for so much before I start losing faith in it. You know, I need to get a certain amount of that type of functionality, at least.
With all the technical hurdles, is it disheartening to have to keep doing all this stuff, not knowing if it's actually going to turn into a game eventually?
Nah, not really. Like, because I mean, I have a lot of faith in Aaron and Amy, and they're just chugging away, doing whatever they can. For me, swinging around a floppy steak is funny enough in itself. You know, like just being in those worlds, like the stupid tennis hell stuff. Like just going into that space and laughing at it for the first time is something, right? Okay. Yeah, but yeah, we talked about this, and
Yep.
I think we're just gonna do some basic vertex offset stuff.
Yep.
That's probably
Yep.
gonna work fine.
Should the tooth that has a cavity have a visible cavity, or should we just let you drill the crap out of the tooth? Should we just let you
I think this one has a lot of potential.
I think so too.
Cool.
Kraken.
Crackalacken.
Build a Kraken? What?
Build a Kraken.
Build a Kraken.
Well, we kind of have a Kraken in the game, right?
It is kind of a Kraken. Yeah. I hope it works out too. Yeah, I'm trying to find out information from people if there's ever been an Amnesia Fortnight game that just didn't land. So like anybody that just comes in where it's like at the end of the day it's just like literally a garbage pile train wreck. I was in a dark place yesterday. I was like, this is all not going to land because it's just it's sort of a weird thing. Like for me, the point of prototyping is like prove something out one way or the other, and you can succeed or fail, which means failure is an option. Like failure is actually a good thing. If it fails, like okay, great, that didn't work. But if that's because of technical issues, like that are solvable in the long run, in this particular format, are we supposed to like ditch the core game concept and make something else just so that we finish? Like, is finishing more important than actually trying to build the thing that you're trying to build? There
I'm sure
it is.
you got it figured out.
That's what everybody says. And I hope we do. I hope we do. But I've also done this enough times. Sometimes you don't figure it out. Like you can't just rely on like, oh, well, everything just comes together at the last minute. It's like, well, no, sometimes it doesn't come together at the last minute.
It's important.
Yeah.
Make Derek look cool all the time.
Looking
Yeah,
good. Gotta
think
look
they're
good.
Cool.
Look at my good side.
Uh,
Still waiting on a full playable game, but I feel like we're getting closer every day, so that's good.
modeling stuff.
Yeah, always modeling. Always be modeling. Yeah.
And you don't have a huge team to sit around and do bug testing like you guys were.
No.
doing a
Yeah,
little-
Jared and I were doing like trying to bug test for Chad.
So it went flying as soon as you ejected from it, but on your screen it's still there.
Still there.
And
And I
it's
get it when I
still
get in
going
it?
to be there when you get in it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what was happening before too. How are you guys feeling about implementing the water mechanic at this point? We can make that decision tomorrow to see how far we get today.
Yeah, we don't want to start adding water until Compat is registering properly across the whole multiplayer thing, and So I think putting it off is fine, even if we, get to the end of day Friday and we haven't done any water stuff. If everything else is solid, that means that we can really focus on it.
I don't know. I keep going back and forth on that. Like, on one hand, like, it'd be really great to have another mode, like game mode, the water game mode thing. But then also it's like, well, we only have, like, now we have 3 days left. One of those days is going to be the last day, which is going to be like, everything's coming in hot. Like, you can't really add anything on the last day. So, I don't know if that's going to happen right now. It's also really fun just to hang out in the game that we made. Just to like play with it and just spend time with it, spend a little time. So it's cool. One more.
Are you making him ghost work, Jared?
Yeah.
I love that their jaw is synced too. You just need a giant tongue.
Man, the animation on that grass.
Once we
is
get the
really
music
awesome.
and all of the grunts, it's gonna be incredible. This is already really great. It's just fun to see every day.
Such a compressed timeline compared to a normal development cycle. Where a couple hours is equivalent to a couple days or a couple weeks on a normal project. So every moment counts. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting for me. I think more importantly on a project like this, it's exciting for other people to get things in that are flashy and cool looking. I made this like pot smash dust effect. I probably spent an hour or less on it, and as soon as not having it versus having it is just like night and day difference in terms of how the game feels and how exciting it is. It tends to make other people get excited about what's going on. Like you can have spheres and temp guys and grid materials on things until the last few days to get the design and everything going, but that doesn't keep people motivated, you know? Seeing stuff come together visually, even if it's maybe not the most important part of the game, I think is super motivating to other people on the team, and they can see that, you know, the game is actually going to become something. So, yeah, it's sort of backward, but I think in these sort of things, like these fast game jam things, it actually makes sense to get like polished art in as fast as possible. Same with like lighting or just like this fog volume in the background that behind the mountains, it totally sets the mood. And that took like 5 seconds to drop in, but it, you know, it's the sort of thing that you might save to the end on a normal project, or at least once things are further along. But trying to push everything forward as much as possible. Yeah. So you'll actually have a wet clay, right? So it's wet as you're sculpting it, and then it'll dry up, and then you'll get, you know, your final wonderful creation. Yeah, I use this MIDI controller, so we can control any parameter in the game with these knobs. So in this case, I'm just using it to control both the heat amount inside the coals and then also a light that's above it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that's all about.
Your effects blueprint looks kind of elaborate.
Oh, this is the clay material. It's kind of a mess. This is what happens in Amnesia Fortnight. Don't worry about that.
Have you been aware of what Jeremy Mitchell has been doing?
Yeah, effects stuff. Jeremy's been doing cool effects.
Did this just look even better? Did it just become
better or
really,
worse?
really cool?
It just got awesome over here.
Oh man. No, keep it off. Keep it off.
This is going in my demo reel for sure. This shot. Thanks, Derek.
Oh, you just keep doing this.
See, it's already it's already fun.
Yeah, there you go. It's just something about large food ingredients. It's just really fun.
Asif's onto something. How did today go, Asif?
It was really good, actually. I remember feeling stressed yesterday, just because. No, actually, today a little bit too. I was stressed. Sorry, I'll start over. Today ended up being great.
There's definitely optimism to be had. He looks tired. Hope he's okay. He's very tired.
So like, bring it over here. It'll break TK, and do that.
Okay.
See how it goes and then it falls in. But now at this point, it just like doesn't do anything.
Interesting. I wonder if it has to do with the disabling of the physics.
Yeah.
And then re-enabling.
'Cause I can't move it kinematically unless I disable physics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Now you're primarily focused on player movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so is that in good enough a place? Now you're moving on to other things.
I think so. The thing that keeps coming up really is the carrying of the objects. Like, you know, in test cases, it just works fine. But now as we start interacting with the actual machines and everything, then all the edge cases start coming up. Because, you know, when you're just running around regularly, like, you know, just the base case of carrying stuff, you know, it works fine, right? That was a little too strong. Oh, that's all right. So these things are going to come up, and we'll refine it as much as we can, but obviously in the time that we have, we can't really get it feeling perfectly right. For me, it's seeing the machines actually working and seeing the platforming and basically the structure of the level working is also reassuring. I think right now it might be a little too frustrating to do that.
Because it's linked to your camera movement.
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah. And then that is awkward. It's functional,
And right now, that's probably the most important part. Look at that. But then if I just tap it, it's a little less. But it's gonna be really cool if let's say we let the max be super high, that if you're able to chuck like an ingredient from one side of the arena all the way to the other, I think that's gonna be really cool to see.
It feels like fun, like risk reward.
Yeah,
Like you could
yeah.
save yourself a bunch of time, but you could also miss. So
Yeah. If the food item actually gets even close to where it's supposed to go, it just snaps it, or it slowly like moves it into place. Pew.
Oh.
No. But if that was a little bit close, that would be super satisfying. I think functional first, and then we could tune in our hours of polish time how fun we can actually make it.
Those will be rad.
Cool.
It's fancy footwork there, Gavin.
I want to say I really enjoy the horizontal spin when you double jump. It's like
it's a really nice.
It's like really
animation.
charming, and I just like double jumping.
Oh my god, there's sound too.
Fucking
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that one is
And
awkward
the
to
lights
do.
are changing on the front. And now the dough turned into green noodles.
Yeah, it did.
And
Food will come a little bit later.
It's shirataki noodles. Yeah.
Hey, I gotta put some platforms to get up here a little bit easier.
The God Bowl. That's just the white box God Bowl. But.
So I found this out. Full speed up.
That's the real speed up.
If you jump off, are you launched? Or just
It
stop
takes a while to get up to actual launch speed.
Awesome.
This is my favorite thing.
Oh!
All right.
I don't want to fix it.
2, 1, go.
Oh my god!
It was the big shell.
Stay. All right. Now you all watch while I run back.
Good job, you guys.
Yay.
Looking awesome.
Yeah.
I was just like laying the track ahead of people as they were finishing things, and that was a little nuts, but a lot of stuff is getting done now, and it is really motivating. So feeling good about where things are headed for the next few days. Anyway, we can talk more in our closing interview. I'm gonna keep doing some stuff while I still have some brain power.
Later.
Bye.
it's very Kubrick, actually.
You're isolated. You feel nothing.
Peter's music was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's usually not quite so synth heavy.
Yeah, that's my fault. I got this kind of in the evening, and I was playing, just put the music on loop and was like running around in our level and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it fits. We still haven't proved that the evolution works in an interesting way yet. So I think that's still to be determined.
You said at the beginning, like, you don't know if it's gonna work. Do you still feel like it could go either way?
Yeah.
Say speed.
Speed. They're going to
That
start very
means
low.
they start from 300 and go to 4,500?
This is what they can be. The first generation is going to start with these alleles, meaning that a quarter of them are going to be here, which is very close to the bottom. So this is going to be very
That's
close.
why they're all triggering.
Yeah, because this range is very large. Now, if you want the range.
See, I'm getting out of the zone now. I'm doing complex computations.
In my mind, the evolution is the most important part, but I don't think I can do that without the combat, because the combat is kind of why the evolution matters.
When this radiation storm hits, all of these creatures mutate, and the ones that survived, which means they had positive traits, it makes it more difficult for you to go hunting the next cycle, right? And you have to survive long enough to get rescued. That's the idea.
From the player's perspective, the way they interact with the creatures is through combat. Evolution is kind of interesting a little bit on its own, but if it's not changing how the combat plays, then it doesn't really have a point.
Okay, we got to figure out this combat, because if you don't nail that, it's gonna feel like butt. It's just not gonna feel right. And the only way to do it is to get it up and running and start testing it.
Oh, the getting sucked attacked for the creature. If I get a little more detail on what we're talking about there.
The concept of it was sort of them like in a state of, I don't know, like getting ghost busted, like sort of.
We were sort of trying to think of other games that had almost like a vacuum cleaner type interaction. Like, how did it come to be that was going to be like the way that you interact with the monsters?
Honestly, right now, I don't remember why we made that decision.
Because right now, it's kind of weird. You've got these weird banana-shaped enemies that are just sliding around the ground, and you've got you, and you've kind of very, very rudimentary combat amongst them. But once the enemies are changing in size, and you're seeing the different attributes on them every cycle, it's going to be, oh, okay, I get it. That's about all we got right now. I'm not worried. What's there to be worried about?
It's not your game, right?
Well, I mean, I have no worries that the materials are going to get in, the animations are going to get in. The only thing is, is how fun is this going to be?
Because Tim, he's going to play them all the games on the day after AF. Do you feel like this would be a game Tim's going to like at all?
I don't know, what kind of games does he like?
Well, I guess you know the kind that he makes, right? and hopefully he likes what he makes.
Zach's game, because he picked it.
And it's not happening.
The thing I actually came over here to say also was I talked to Chad and explained the direness of our situation. Here's what we're doing. Here's our approach. Anything about that seem wrong or different, or do you know any gotchas? Like just spending 15 minutes to just
have a
walk
chat
through that stuff and look at the code as it exists.
And I found other people here complaining about similar things, and I don't know. I feel like I'm just totally missing some huge piece of information. We're having a lot of trouble. I mean, certainly part of it is likely due to the fact that we're just not really familiar with it, and we're trying to get up and running with it as soon as possible, and so we're not spending tons of time reading documentation and watching tutorials and all that kind of stuff. We're just kind of hitting the ground running. We've had a little bit of trouble on that front. We chatted a little bit and kind of just got some ideas, because Kiln's also doing network multiplayer stuff, and so I got some good information from him in a general sense, not like any specific problem to solve, but general ideas of how we should be using parts of Unreal's networking.
This is a much better test. Okay. I should put that on a 2-second timer.
Spawn actor. It's the spawn actor. Cool. Yeah, that was it. Well, it is this node. I found it.
Amazing.
Found it. Yay! You just dig.
It wasn't actually a systemic problem. It's really good news.
I think this is if you win a level and then skip me into this. Oh. And back to the menu. Menu. Woo! Okay. That was the game end to end. That was the whole thing. That was the whole thing.
All right, we're done.
We're done. We're done. We basically did it. Now we're just back to not having enough time, instead of it also being impossible. This was our team yesterday, and then this is our team today. So
they take a pill.
What's that? Yeah, they took a pill. Happens to everybody. 2 weeks on the idea, and then you'll never touch it again. So I mean, this is sort of the shot for this idea to live and die. And so you go through the arc of getting very excited about something, and then going like, oh, actually, no, it's just gonna be stillborn in a way, and then you'll move on and never make that thing. And that, it doesn't matter how long you're in the industry. That's always just a bummer. You get excited about something, and then it doesn't end up happening. But hopefully, it will all come together, and we will make something awesome, and we will have a very hilarious playtest where we'll make Tim do all the stupid stuff in front of everyone.
Dark days are in the past.
Fingers crossed. I really hope that our networking woes are in the past. Anyways, this is a lot more fun to work on than networking bugs. It's much more fun to come up with ways to generate scores for butter churning.